So this session is being recorded. By the way, itong last time, saan ba tayo natapos sa discussion? Anyone who could remind or could recap the discussion last time? Okay, so kung wala yung makarecap, ako na lang mag-discuss, okay? Basin na yung uban nakalimot dira. And also, yung meron akong i i-share sa inyong document siguro by tomorrow before the exam. It's about crisis management and terrorism. Yan, kasi may libro ako dito na nakuha. It is based sa one of the textbooks na reference ninyo, yung kay Panganoron and Eduardo, Human Behavior and Crisis Management. Hopefully mabigay ko yung crisis management na part before your exam. And then before kayo mag-third or somehow by next week, makumpleto ko na gawa yung kumpletuhin ko na gawin yung libro. Okay? So, there are 12 participants. Anyway, I'll be recording this. So, balikan nyo to. And, kinsa ba nakakita na sa mga gi-share na nako or mga videos nako sa YouTube account nako? You can just raise your hand. Yan. So, anyway, I'll continue my discussion. So, again, good afternoon sa inyo, ha? I'll be discussing or continue to discuss to you about crisis. Okay? So, sandali lang. So, when we say crisis, it came from the Greek word na crisis of the same spelling. Yan. Greek word crisis, which means, nasa na yan? Which means to separate or separate. Yan. So, crisis came from the Greek word separate. So, the thing with crisis against the term emergency, halos magkapareho lang yan sila. Again, crisis came from the Greek word crisis, which means to separate or separate. And ang term na crisis or emergency, ito sila dalawa, both of them are interchanged. Commonly interchanged ito, especially for formal or technical definitions. Pero magkaiba kasi ang origins ng crisis compared sa salitang emergency. But the common with both of these or these two is that silang dalawa, once a crisis or an emergency occurs, there is what we call a requirement of an immediate action. So, kailangan may immediate action in response to a crisis or an emergency. Ang crisis is of Greek origin. Yan. Crisis is of Greek origin, while ang emergency is of Latin. Latin ang emergency, which came from the Latin word emergentia or emergencia. Yan, emergentia, which means a sudden condition or state of affair. Yan. Both of the terms crisis and yung emergentia, they have this requirement again of immediate action. That's why during times of emergencies, whether local or national, they require swift and immediate reaction by those agencies or parties involved. Yan. Okay? So, I'll proceed next. Sige, so bababa tayo. There are actually two types of crisis or emergency. Yan, two types of crisis or emergency. Okay? So, dalawang klase lang yan. First is man-made and the next type is yung natural or providential emergency. Yan. Okay? So, the first type is yung man-made. So, sa man-made emergencies, napakaraming kasapi niyan or there are different types of man-made emergencies. Merong civil disturbance, yan. There's also what we call a revolution. Of course, ang revolution may napakaraming klase din yan. War, meron ding revolt. I will explain to you anong isa pang klase ng revolt. Yan. Border incidents. Yan. Border incidents, kidnapping, and of course, yung pinaka-common, terrorism. So sa man-made crisis or man-made emergencies, all of those are, of course, man-made and requires man-made actions. Yan, for example, itong civil disturbance. Yung civil disturbance, my friends, is commonly, kung sa law enforcement or sa PNP, that's translated into demonstrations, or yung tinatawag na riots. Yan. Demonstrations, riots. Ang legal jargon ng civil disturbance is a yung parang rally. Yan. That's the formal jargon yan. Demonstrations are also called rally or rallies. Yan. So, in civil disturbance emergencies, actually hindi naman sila immediate or yung biglaan. They're not spontaneous. Some of them, if not most of them, are pre-arranged. Like for example, sa mga cities like dito sa Davao City, yung mga rallies or mga rallyista, bago yan sila magkakaroon ng demonstration, yan, manonog na sila effigy ni Digong, o sa ba na, muhigda ba na sila sa Ateneo sa Rojas Avenue, they would need to secure a permit from the local government. So sabihin natin, inaprubahan ng local government yung permit na mag-rally sila, then they can choose what location they could do that demonstration. So yan, siguro magrarally sila sa San Pedro. Yan, San Pedro Street. So sabihin natin doon sila magrarally. may permit na sila, by the time na or mga few days, few hours before the demonstration, yung mga law enforcers would already have their formation. Or magkakaroon na sila ng tinatawag na CDMT. Yan. The CDMT mean? That's a Civil Disturbance Management Teams. Yan. Yung mga CDMTs nila would be pre-positioned to anticipate yung mga biglaang demonstrations or yung mga actions ng mga rallyists na hindi inaasahan ng public. So in order to control their actions, to control the demonstration, yung mga CDMTs, kana katong mga police na naka-helmet, na face shield, unya na shield, yan, yung body shield. Ang gagawin nila is to control the movement, to limit the movement of those rallyists. Yan. A much severe kind of it is what we call yung riots. Yan. So for example, yung nangyayari ngayon sa US, sa city ng Portland, city ng Chicago, and sa Detroit, yun, nagra-riot yung mga itim doon. So, basically, ang ginagawa ng mga riots is a much severe, much more violent form of demonstration. Kung sa US pa, manira na silang mga tindahan, mga malls, buak nilang mga pultahan, mga glasses, and then they would conduct what we call looting. Yan. Riots kasi siguro yung ibang rason na nagra-riot sila is to steal things. So, they would be looting those things. For example, mga jewelries or kanang mga fans sa K-pop dira kanang mga light stick sa Blackpink or sa Twice. Kawato na nila gikan sa tindahan. So they will be looting those. Yan. Public stealing, especially for those products na naka-display or nasa mga markets or supermarkets. Okay? Next is itong revolution. So, yung mga revolutions that is having a political significance or any political reason. That's mainly what they call a political exercise. Yan. So, political exercise. Siguro gusto ng mga mamamayan na palitan na yung gobyerno or yung form ng government. So, for example, yung EDSA People Power Revolution, its main intention is to, yung una, para mapabagsak si Presidente Ferdinand Marcos. The second one was to impeach by public force si Presidente Joseph Estrada. So yan, that's a political move, that's a political exercise, which of course, yung publiko na mismo ang gagawa ng solusyon. Yan. So on the part of Ferdinand Marcos and Joseph Estrada, that is already their political fallout. Or kumbaga, that's already a failure sa kanilang political career. Yan. So, revolution. Next, of course, war. Kinsa ba'y gusto gera? Yan. So, there are different forms of war. Ang most common ngayon na form of war, aside from war between nations, it is the war against terrorism. So, sa war against terrorism, hindi lang yan laban sa mga terorista, but of course, it is a conflict against those governments, those countries who support terrorists. Okay? I'll give you one fact or I'll give you one fact. Di yan, fact. So, one fact is that Terrorism originated in France. Yan. Terrorism originated in France. That came from the word terrorisme. I forgot the spelling. I think I'm gonna see it here. Terrorisme, which means to strike fear. Yan. Terrorisme. Or to strike fear to the public. Yan. Terrorisme, to strike fear. That's a French word. So nag-originate yan sa France. It is one of their military strategies in order for those na gusto ipabagsak yung kaharian ng France na matakot. Yan. So, when we say modern terrorism, yung suicide bombings, yan, mga planned attacks, ang nag-originate yan or yung bansa na nagsimula ng modern terrorism noong 20th century is of course yung government ng Iran. Yan. So what type of terrorism ang sinimulan ng Iran? It is what we call state-sponsored terrorism. Yan. Iran is known for being the origin of modern terrorism or modern state-sponsored terrorism. Yan. State-sponsored terrorism. Kumbaga, mismong gobyerno ang nagpapakalat ng mga atake laban sa kalaban nito or within their country. The purpose is para matakot at mapabagsak yung mga kalaban ng current government. Yan. So, nung panahon na pinamumunuan pa ang Iran ng Ayatollah or yung parang Shah nila, yung hari nila, gusto ng hari na lahat ng kalaban niya mamatay or maibagsak. Especially those other countries na makikialam. So, he conducted terrorism. Yan. So, suicide bombings, car bombs, diyan nagsimula yung IED. Yan. Lahat ng yon sinimulan ng Iran. And of course, inadapt ng ibang Muslim countries or Islam countries, pero to the point na hindi na naaayon sa libro ng Quran. Yan. So, the other topics of terrorism will be discussed after or soon. Next kind is revolt. So, the common revolt that is or has recently occurred sa Pilipinas, yung tinatawag na kudeta. That's the correct spelling. Kudeta. So, yung kudeta, that is an armed revolt done by government agents or government employees, specifically the military. Yan. So magkukudeta yung kasundaluhan laban sa sariling gobyerno. Specifically, magkakaroon sila ng revolt laban sa commander-in-chief, which is the president. Yan yung recent na nangyari. 2007, yung Oakwood Mutiny sa gitna ng Makati, kung saan ang pinaka-common or pinaka-famous na pangyayari doon, pinasok ng dalawang tangke yung lobby ng Oakwood Hotel. Yan. Pati yung Manila Peninsula na hotel. So, pinuntahan ng tangke, sinira yung entrance, kung saan gusto nila kunin yung, or gusto nila maaresto, yung mga kapwa nilang sundalo na nagsimula nung revolt or kudeta. Diba? Si Senator Trillanes, pati si General Danny Lim. Yan. So that is a form of revolt. The thing is, sa kudeta, ang revolt is directed against the president or the commander-in-chief and is done by military men or military personnel. The worst coup d'etat we have experienced is nung 1989. So yung 1989 na coup d'etat was directed against the president. Yan. That's the bloodiest. Yan. Maraming namatay dyan. To the point na yung mga Pilipinong mga piloto sa Air Force, ang kalaban nila, mga kapwa din nila piloto. Yan. Kung saan nasira yung Sangli Airport. Okay? Next form of terrorism, of course, it strikes fear. Border incidents, common yan sa Amerika. Diba may mga drug syndicates who does not only sell drugs but also kill people who gives a negative effect on their operations. Okay? So, yung borders ng US napaka-stricto. The same goes with other countries na kung saan ang pagitan lang nila body of land. The next form of terrorism is kidnapping or kidnap for ransom. So sa kidnapping, that is taking one person or a group of people with the use of force, threat, intimidation for the purpose of somehow obtaining a concession or obtaining monetary consideration or favor. For example, kinidnap ng isang grupo si Miss A dahil membro siya ng pamilyang negosyante sa Pilipinas. At ang gusto ng sindikatong grupo is to obtain monetary consideration or any other consideration. That is kidnapping. It's basically simple understanding na sa inyo, ha? Okay? So, yun. That is the first type of a crisis or emergency. Okay? Questions before I proceed to the next type? Questions? Mr. Ranolo, nakipangutana?
None so far, sir.
Okay, so anyway, next. I'll proceed to the
Ay, wait lang, sir.
next type.
Ang kanang arcade,
Yes.
sir, kay asa na lugar na belong, sir?
Ang Al-Qaeda.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Medyo madugay tag-explain, ana. Anyway, sige. Turn off muna mic mo.
Thank
Sige, so yung Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda. So, Al-Qaeda is a terrorist organization na kung saan meron din silang mga subunits, but basically they originated in Iraq. Iraq with also other units that were created at the same time sa Afghanistan. Yan. So, the thing with Al-Qaeda, ang kanilang creator or yung nag-create sa grupo nila, I think you know him already. Public enemy number 1, Osama bin Laden. So, itong si Osama bin Laden, he is not just anybody. He is a very rich Saudi Arabian oil mogul. Kumbaga, dato na kaayo na siya. Okay? So, si Osama bin Laden is actually an engineer. A very rich engineer from Saudi Arabia. During nung 1985, nagkaroon ng 1985, nagkaroon ng pananakop ang Soviet Union sa Afghanistan. Yan. So, planong sakupin ng Soviet Union ang Afghanistan. Yan. So, noong 1985. So, at that time, medyo malakas na ang presensya ng US sa Afghanistan. Nalaman ng gobyernong Amerika na humihina na ang military ng Soviet Union, pero bakit gusto pa rin nila sakupin ng Afghanistan? And of course, Afghanistan is known for one thing na gustong-gusto pareho ng Soviet Union at ng Amerika. And that is oil. Sa sobrang lawak ng oil reserves ng Afghanistan, gusto ng Soviet Union sakupin sila kasi nawawalan na or kumukonti na yung supply ng oil ng Soviet Union. The same goes with US. They want this. And of course, Afghanistan is a weak country. Mahina ang gobyerno nila. So, nasakop or sinakop ng Soviet Union ang Afghanistan noong 1985. So, ang ginawa ng Central Intelligence Agency, sige, para maiwasan ang pagkaroon ng galit ng ibang bansa sa United States, why not, ang gagawin ng Amerika, magsisend sila ng mga CIA operatives sa Afghanistan at ang gagawin nila is they would be funding rebels. So the CIA has budgeted or nagkaroon siya ng budget na kung saan bibigyan ng armas, ng mga equipment ang mga rebels laban sa Soviet Union. And of course, sa military history, ang Afghanistan is one of those places na may portion na desierto at may portion na snowy. Yan. So, fast forward, nakita ng mga Afghanistan, of course, Afghanistan is a Muslim country, na yung laban nila against Soviet Union is part of what they call the Holy War or yung jihad. Of course, nag-invite yung mga rebelding Afghanistan sa mga kapwa nila Muslim around the world na sumama sa laban kontra Soviet Union. That's the point na nagkaroon ng interest ang isang Saudi Arabian billionaire. Yan. Saudi billionaire. Saudi Arabian billionaire na si Osama bin Laden. He's a known engineer. So, sinabi ni Osama bin Laden, samahan ko yung mga rebelde na makipaggera. So, of course, may funding ka na sa Amerika, meron ka pang mayaman na sasama. So, nag-funding din siya sa rebels. But the thing is, kahit nanalo sila sa mini-war sa Soviet Union, biglang nawala ang suporta ng mga Amerikano, ng CIA, sa mga rebeldeng mahirap. At yun ang naging isang dahilan bakit nagalit si Osama bin Laden. Bakit iniwan bigla ng Amerika yung suporta at pangako nila sa mga rebelde na mahihirap sa Afghanistan. So, dahil sa galit niya sa Amerika at sa galit ni Osama bin Laden sa pagkaroon ng gera at that time, gumawa siya ng grupo, which is their main job is to inflict terror against those Americans. Yan. Diyan na nagsimula yung Al-Qaeda. Okay? So, yan yung history. So, una nilang binomba noong 1993 ang World Trade Center. Yes, nabombahan noong 1993 ang World Trade Center. Yan, World Trade Center sa New York. Pero wala masyado naging epekto. Pero during that time, naisip ng Al-Qaeda na pwede palang ma-penetrate ang United States. So, inuna a better plan noong 2001. Around 19 years ago, noong September 11, there are actually 4 planes during that day na may ibang intention. 2 planes struck the World Trade Center towers. 1 plane destroyed 1/5 of the Pentagon, yung headquarters ng United States military. And the other one, ang intention nung isa is to destroy the White House. Pero dahil napatay yung mga hostage takers during the flight, sinadya na lang ng mga civilian na ibagsak yung eroplano sa isang patag na field sa Philadelphia. So ayun, the worst terrorist incident in the 21st century. Okay? So, okay na?
Okay na, sir. Thank you.
Naku, explain pa na ako
Okay.
ning uban din eh. Anyway, so I'll proceed to other topics sa inyong sim. So, crisis management. So, there are some of you na nagkaroon ng question sa akin sa open forum. Sir, what if during an incident, or ano ba yung question niya isa na certain actions that must be done during crisis or hostage-taking situations. Yan. Tingnan ko lang dito yung mga questions. For example, na question diri, what are the difference and similarities between crisis management and human behavior? Ani na ha. Sa crisis management, ang mga consideration sa crisis management, one of those is human behavior to those people na sabihin natin sila yung hostage takers. So that's why there is what we call a negotiating team who would who would communicate with those those hostage takers with the primary consideration of having a peaceful resolution. So during hostage taking situations, ang primary consideration is a peaceful resolution. Peaceful resolution palagi. Walang masasaktan, walang mamamatay, lahat makakauwi ng buhay. Yan. So, ang mga negotiators, they are known to have some trainings on human behavior. Yan. So, that is part of barricaded suspect situations. Okay, so before we discuss about yung Stockholm, yung Lima syndrome, let's talk about the basic stages. So again, pre-crisis stage. Yan. That is for the prevention and preparation. So, ingani ha, during a hostage-taking situation or even before it, yung tinatawag nating mga special weapons and tactics teams, yan, yung mga SWAT teams, meron yan silang tinatawag na alert teams within their unit. So, yung alert teams, 24/7 yan silang nakaantabay. Whatever emergency na kinakailangan sila. So, sa pre-crisis, itong mga alert teams, standby, on alert yan sila. ready to respond in a moment's notice. But also during the pre-crisis period, yung mga negotiators, yung mga team leaders at mga planners, gagawa sila ng mga plans. They would prepare their contingencies in case na meron pang mangyari other than the hostage taking situation. So, ang gagawin ng SWAT, magpa-practice yan sila ng room clearing. Yan. Ang negotiators, they would continue to research on the possible behavior ng mga hostage takers. Yan. Next is the response stage. Sa response stage, that is during the time na meron ng call for help or meron ng tawag to respond. Meron ng crisis na bago pa lang na-notify. So, dyan na pupunta na yung mga negotiators to the live crisis. Yan. And of course, sa post-crisis, dyan na yung tinatawag na debriefing. Yan. Kung saan after the conduct of the operation, whether the result is good or bad, they still need to what we call deliberate themselves or deliberate their actions. Yan. Kumbaga, i-review nila kung anong ginawa nila during the hostage situation and after the conduct. Yan. So, paano ba sila nagresponde? Ano bang ginawa nila during? And ano bang naging dahilan bakit ganon yung outcome? Yan. Okay? So, yun yung three basic stages. Next is with regards to national security matters, yan, or national crisis. For example, terrorism. For example, yung sa Marawi. At that time, si Presidente nasa Russia. Yan, nakikipag-usap siya sa Presidente ng Russia. Bigla siyang tinawagan ng kanyang National Security Advisor kasi ang National Security Advisor, aside from advising the President on the strategies once na merong mangyari sa Pilipinas, ang isang trabaho niya is to brief the President. Siya ang mag-brief sa President daily on the intelligence reports from different intelligence communities. So, ang gagawin ni National Security Advisor yung panahon na yon, in-inform niya si Presidente. Mr. President, merong mga or merong grupo na gumawa ng violent takeover sa Marawi City. So, automatically, ang mangyayari niyan is maa-activate yung tinatawag na National Peace and Order Council. So yan, PNP, AFP, National Bureau of Investigation, DSWD, halos lahat or if not all government agencies under the executive branch, parte niyan. So ang gagawin nila, they would have that crisis management meetings and kung saan made-develop or maa-activate yung crisis management committees or CMCs. And also, yung National Peace and Order Council would also be, once na ma-activated na yung NPOC, magkakaroon ng automatic meeting ang National Security Council or ang NSC. Members ng NSC, lahat ng mga buhay na presidente and members ng AFP, PNP, and other law enforcement agencies, which ang kanilang hinandle nung time na yon is terrorism. Ano bang dapat gawin? Ano bang strategiya? So, yun. So, as we all know, terrorism is a criminal act. Originally, part yan siya ng Republic Act number 9372, which was further, it was repealed by RA 11479. Yan na yung anti-terror law ngayon, yung 2020, yung controversial. Yan. So, ang makapangyarihang body ng government sa current na anti-terror law is itong National Security Council. Kasi sila ang magbibigay ng authorization sa mga operators kung sino ba ang huhulihin or what kind of operation ang gagawin once a terrorist or a terrorist incident occurs. Okay? So, authorization. So, yan. For example, nung siguro mga a few months before, yung mga namatay na sundalo, yung mga pinatay ng Holopolis, they were actually catching up or hinahabol nila nung mga panahon na yon yung two out of the three suicide bombers. I think one of them or both of them are female. Yung isa yung parang head na yung master bomber. So yun, hinahabol nila. They were conducting a reconnaissance mission under the authorization ng NSC. Kasi as early as February, alam na ng presidente na merong mangyayari sa Holo. May pagsabog or bombing na mangyayari sa Holo. But the thing is, unfortunately, nagkaroon lang plain misencounter from the soldiers against the local police. So yun, nakatakas yung mga terorista, yung mga bombers, which resulted, I think it was July or June, nagkaroon ng pagsabog, twin suicide bombing sa Sulu, which killed, I think, around 15 lives. So yan, very important yan. And of course, terrorism is an act because there's no single act of terrorism, but there are series of acts which makes it a compound and a complex crime. Yan. Okay? So, sa crisis, the main consideration, again, saving lives, lessening damage to property. So, for example, if a crisis situation involves foreign nationals, best example niyan, I'll give you an assignment again. It is about the hostage-taking incident which involves four countries. Yan, merong hostage-taking situation nung, I think, around the 70s or 80s, kung saan they hijacked a plane in Albania, or I don't know which country was it, and then, yung hijack na plane, they made those passengers as hostages, and then dinala nila yung eroplano sa apat or tatlong bansa. Yan. So, how would foreign nationals, how would foreign governments coordinate in a crisis situation same as hijacking or terrorism? For example, dito sa Pilipinas, tandaan niyo yung mga foreigners na dinukot sa Samal, dinala sa Sulu, di ba? So automatically, during a crisis situation such as that, which involves foreign nationals, automatically, ang ating gobyerno, through the Department of Foreign Affairs, yan, DFA, ang gagawin nila, ino-notify ng Department of Foreign Affairs yung mga ambassadors nung mga nasabing nationalities. Yan. So those ambassadors would inform their governments or can be directly sa kanilang chief of state or head of state. Yan. For example, sa Denmark, they would inform the prime minister or the president of Denmark na isa sa mga kababayan nila was taken hostage by Filipino terrorists. Yan. So what if ang terorista, ang Abu Sayyaf, gustong makakuha ng pera galing sa foreign nationals or foreign nations. So of course, sa Philippines or dito sa ating bansa, the same with United States, there must be no deal or no deal talaga with terrorists. Yan. So, there must be no interactions or hindi pwedeng bumigay na lang ang gobyerno or ang government sa mga concessions ng terorista. So, the same goes as if those Filipinos abroad were taken hostage. Yan. So, halos the same lang din na method. Okay? Let's go down to PNP operational procedures. Yan. Critical incident management. So, handling hostage situations, either the AFP or the PNP. Pero kung sa PNP level lang, of course, that is much, uh, I should say, much and easier. Pero hindi talaga madali eh. It's much easier compared sa hostage situations na hinahandle ng AFP. Okay? So, one of those considerations is achieve the early liberation or maaga at mabilisang pagpapakawala ng mga hostages or victims. So, how would they liberate those hostages? Either through negotiation or through yung tinatawag na military actions. Yan. Sa formal term yan sa military, that's what they call direct action missions. Kung saan may mga sundalo na magpe-penetrate sa kuta ng kalaban and they would forcibly free the hostages. Yan. Okay? So, that's understandable. Kani, Stockholm Syndrome. So, sa Stockholm Syndrome, that is based on a certain hostage-taking situation sa isang bangko sa Stockholm, Sweden, na kung saan there was this female hostage who developed a psychological alliance or nagkaroon ng pagmamahal yung isang hostage sa kanyang hostage takers. Actually, naging sila during the time of the hostage. Na in love siya sa hostage taker or isa sa mga hostage taker. Nagka-develop ng positive psychological connection with the hostage taker, si hostage. Yan. So, the history was below yan. Sveriges Credit Bank. Nasa downtown Stockholm, Sweden yon. Yan. During that time, yung hostage situation na yon, napakalaki ng epekto niyon sa ekonomiya ng Sweden to the point na mismo yung Prime Minister was involved in the negotiation. Yan. Okay, so there's also a question dito sa forum. Yung post ni Miss Katunggal, yan, sa Stockholm Syndrome. So, like this, in order to consider a hostage situation as successful, first and foremost, yung mga biktima, hindi na sila under the control ng hostage takers. Kahit nabuhayan sila pero under control ng hostage takers, they are considered still under hostage. Yan. So, hindi yan siya mako-consider na successful pa. So, once they escape, whether may ginawa ang police or wala, that's a failure. So, kailangan habulin pa rin nila. Follow up pa rin nila. Or what we call hot pursuit. Yan. So, we consider a hostage-taking situation as successful if the victims are freed and or yung mga hostage takers na aresto or namatay during the operation conducted by law enforcement. Okay? So, hostage negotiation procedures under the PNP. I've shared to you the manual. You can read it. Yan. So, ang procedure ng gobyerno natin in hostage-taking situations is that first and foremost, safety ng hostage victims. Sunod, hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng bill ang gobyerno, monetarily speaking, to the hostage takers, especially those hostage takers na terorista or rebelde. Yan. So, walang monetary consideration, walang ransom na maibibigay ang gobyerno papunta sa terorista. Parang binigyan mo na lang ng pera sila. Yan. Because politically speaking, kung magbibigay ang gobyerno ng pera sa hostage takers, pinapakita lang yan na yung government headed by the president mahina sa hostage taking situations, mahina siyang mag-negotiate or may papakita sa buong mundo na pipitsugin or as what they say, he is weak in handling crisis situations. So, sino bang presidente ang gustong masabihan na mahina? 'Di ba? So, ayan. Still have 5 minutes. So, most common hostage-taking situations na nahaharap ng PNP are those na yung regular na nakikita nyo, they are called hostage or barricaded hostage situations. Yan. So, ang hostage takers, they would place themselves inside a structure or a place together with a victim or their victims who are willingly or unwillingly confronted and taken into custody, yung custodian nila or under their control. And of course, ang authorities, wala silang magagawa pang decision yon. They could not attack them because, of course, yung lives ng victims. Yan. So, most of hostage takers sa yung mga customary hostage takers, ayaw nila maging violente. For example, yung hostage taking situation sa Quirino Grandstand, katong pulis, his intention was not to become violent. Ang gusto lang niya, magkaroon ng hustisya, magkaroon ng tamang proseso kung bakit siya na dismiss sa serbisyo. Kasi pulis din yun siya. Yun. So, ang original niyang plano or the original plan was just to scare the hostages and to scare at maipaalam sa publiko yung mga gusto niya or hinaing niya. But unfortunately, due to the mistakes done by law enforcement and of course the media, yun, it's a big no dapat na ang media makialam sa hostage-taking situation. Sa pogi points, for example, sa United States, ang nakikita lang sa media mostly is the structure lang. Yung mga details about the hostage-taking situation taking place, hindi nila alam. Sa Pilipinas, ang daming osisero. Kahit nag-hostage crisis, dyan titingin talaga. Yan. So that is one reason bakit binago yung procedural manual sa hostage taking ng PNP. Okay? So, questions? Questions? So, tomorrow, we will be continuing to discuss crisis, emergency, and hostage taking situations. I will be giving you another assignment. Yan. Okay raman ni, essay raman ni, wa man ni multiple choice. And then your exam will be on Friday. By the way, advice ko sa inyo kung naamoy pangutana, ibutang ninyo sa open forum. Because I could not really see your body language kung meron ba talaga kayong natutunan or wala lang, chillax lang. 'Di ba? So, also within this week, I will be showing to you ano bang final requirement ninyo. I'll be showing to you your final project, okay? So, tomorrow we will be discussing about ito, hostage situation and barricaded situations, the specifics of that. Yan. Okay, so time check sa akin, it's 3:30. Wala na questions? Mr. Mr. Rosil, wala na pangutana?
Wala na sir, okay na sir.
Mr. Anong, wala na jud? Wala na? Wala na pangutana?
Wala, sir.
Okay, so again, thank you. Good afternoon and have a great day ahead of you.